Disasters in Kentucky are increasing significantly. We've had 3 major events in less than 2 years, from a tornado outbreak to flooding to a windstorm. New tonight, as First Alert meteorologist Ben Beddoes shows us, this can have an impact on your home insurance.
Natural disasters are happening more often. According to LendingTree, Kentucky has seen a 185% increase in natural disasters in the last 20 years. This increase is above the national average. In just the last 2 years, Kentucky has recorded several billion-dollar natural disaster events. The December tornado outbreak in western Kentucky in 2021, the historic flooding in eastern Kentucky in July of last year, and this year, the March 3rd windstorm that impacted nearly the entire state. These natural disasters are impacting insurance rates.
Weather is a huge impact on pricing with homeowners insurance. In the last year, I would say there have been so many events that have taken place. You have flooding in eastern Kentucky. We've had tornadoes in western Kentucky. We've had extreme cold.
Brooke Whalen of Brooke Whalen Insurance says weather has really changed.
I've been in insurance for 12 years, and looking at the last 12 years, weather has never been like it has been the last 2 years. I feel like there's been a huge movement in weather.
Whalen says wind and hail have the most impact on claims in the bluegrass. It's been difficult to try and keep up with the costs of natural disasters.
Unfortunately, insurance can only stay at a certain price until we have so many catastrophic events that the insurance companies are losing money.
So, what can you do?
A big thing that people can do right now is increasing deductibles. Anywhere from $1,000 to $2,500 would make a big impact. And a lot of carriers now offer wind and hail deductibles, which will also adjust that pricing.
I'm meteorologist Ben Beddoes, WKYT.